Okay, good evening, everyone. I'd like to open this meeting of the Denville Township Board of Education, which is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice of this meeting was provided to the Daily Record and/or the Star Ledger of Morris County, has been delivered to the Township Clerk, and has been posted on the bulletin board of the Board of Education office and in each of the school buildings in the district. Roll call, please.
Dr. Moore,
Here.
Mrs. Aidelis,
Here.
Dr. Aruna Datassin,
Here.
Mr. Cass,
Here.
Mr. Anderson,
Mr. Anderson is on his way. He'll be a few minutes late.
Mr. Capello,
Here.
Mr. Kim.
Here. There was no need for an executive session, so we'll go on to the Pledge of Allegiance, if everyone may rise.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and it looks like we have a special presentation, full year 2023-24 HIB SSDS data review.
Yes, we do. Thank you. The state requires that we do this twice a year. We do it in January from July to December, and then again we recap the entire school year. So this is a requirement for the state, and these are specific things that go in the student safety data system, and it's about student safety data system and HIB. So that's what these are specific to that. So during the school year, we had 0 cases of substance abuse. There was 3 weapons. Remember, a weapon can be a lot of different things. We talked about each one of these cases when they came up. Harassment, intimidation, and bullying. We had 12 confirmed cases, 18 investigations, and the administration completed 11 predeterminations, which is allowed by our policy. And to refresh everybody's memory, the predetermination would be that even if the given statements were true, that the conclusion wouldn't be HIB, meaning if somebody said there was a specific incident, and even if it was totally true, it would not be an HIB incident. The principals are allowed to use this predetermination and then direct it toward a code of conduct violation rather than going down the HIB route. So we did that 11 times during the school year. Vandalism, 1 incident. Violence, 2 incidents. Reports of suspension of students with disabilities for reasons other than violence and vandalism, 7. Police were notified 9 times. Remember, we notify very often, and it can be about a lot of different things. If there's any type of a possible safety situation, we notify the police. So, and even though it sounds like a lot, we've developed a great relationship with the police, and we just notify to make sure that there's not something else that we should be thinking about, or if they do think it's a criminal, if there could be some type of police involvement. Out of those 9 times, though, there was no times where the police did anything about it. They were just notified. In-school suspension, 19, and out-of-school suspension, 6. HIB trainings and programs. We conducted 42 trainings. One of them was for the Board of Ed. If you recall, back in the fall, we had Francis do a update for the HIB law for the Board of Ed. So that's included in the 42. We provided 101 different programs. Some of these things we do is obviously it's part of the curriculum. It's part of the teaching and learning, student relationships, safety. These are all included. Parental support, physical, emotional environments, and the morale of the school community. These are all the things that we, and there's a lot more that we address throughout the year when it comes to HIB and student safety. And that is the entire presentation. If there's any questions and the president is okay with that, I'd be happy to answer.
Yeah, and I'd like to open it up to the board for questions for Dr. Forte.
If you go back to the first slide, I had a question on the investigations and everything. But overall, let me start out with the report looks pretty good that we're staying on top of the bullying and the things that are not bullying. So on the the things that weren't bullying, those were all code of conduct violations and were addressed accordingly, or something else was in there?
Let me just make sure I understand what you're asking. Are you talking about the 11 predeterminations or the 18 investigations?
Well, I'll start with the 18 investigations. 12 were confirmed HIB, so there were 6 that were something else. So that was that code of conduct. And maybe you could give some context on the predeterminations, what they are.
Okay, so I'll give you a kind of an easy example. Let's just say you and I got in a fight, and your mom writes to the principal, Steve Forte bullied my son. Well, we got in a fight. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a bullying event. Like, let's just say, after talking to the 2 kids, oh no, he stepped on my foot, so I pushed him. Like that's not a bullying thing. That would be a code of conduct. I'm trying to give you kind of an easy example of something like that. Right. And then the thing that I'm talking about, even if it was true, like let's say your mom writes this letter and there's all that stuff in there, and even if all of it's true, it still wouldn't be it still wouldn't be a HIB. Then we treat it as code of conduct.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Forte. Really appreciate it. Oh, go ahead, please.
Perhaps we would have to talk about this in executive session, but I'm just curious about if there are repeat offenders from one year to the next, like looking at 22 numbers to 23 numbers. We did have a little bit of a jump if we're looking back. So I'm just curious if there are students that we follow, or if there's further information for us to kind of look at.
I can give you that information, but it would take me a little time. Like I wouldn't be able to give it to you right off the top of my head. We wouldn't be able to talk about specific actions or events that happen in the school. We could talk about some of it in executive session. Since I've been on superintendent of the board and I have had an agreement that we don't really give the information of the student, like the identification of the student, but that is, it's acceptable to do so if you're in executive session. But that was just kind of the way we conduct business. If you like, we could talk a little bit about this in executive, and if the board wants more information, as long as you give me like what you're looking for, I can provide it. And we do track these things year over year. We do track the person. I have a shared spreadsheet with all the information that we work on with the schools, but I don't share that data with you.
Thank you. Did you have another question?
I'll write my thoughts down and we can talk about an executive.
Is your question really pattern of behavior and what the administration might be doing to help mitigate that pattern of behavior? Is that what the question is?
My questions don't really just come from history. We want to look back and see, what are we doing? How are we helping? How are we rehabilitating if it is a repeat offender? The confirmed HIB for 2022 to 2023 was 3, and this year it was 12. But the students stay in the school and we're watching them as they grow and evolve. So I'm just curious again, just to find more contextual information in terms of what we're looking at.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Dr. Forte, for that presentation. And we'll continue on, and it leads to superintendent comments. So Dr. Forte, right back to you. Sure, we'll give you a second. We could proceed with assistant superintendent comments if Dr. Cullis, you are ready.
Our kindergarten numbers are still sitting at 178, so we've had no new registrations since June. And our summer programs are going fabulously. We have 2 more weeks after this one, so we're in week 3. We have 2 more, and we have we have about 450 students that are participating in one of the programs that the district provides. And then we have a lot of other students that are also participating in the pay to participate enrichment in the afternoon. So we have a lot of students that are active this summer in educational endeavors, as well as some enrichment that we have in our buildings. This concludes the assistant superintendent's report.
Dr. Cullis, I do have one question that just came to my mind. If there is a new family that moves into the district, but they already have children maybe in second grade and fourth grade, do we capture those numbers too? Like, could we potentially see what the total enrollment might look like come September?
I can get you those numbers. They're already in Genesis as they register. So as they move in, we've already rolled over to 24, 25. So the numbers that I have in Genesis are accurate. So I can get those for you.
And those would include any new residents that have moved.
Correct. It would be move-ins and move-outs. So anybody that has moved out and withdrew, they're out of Genesis now, and those and listed as inactive students. And then those that move in are now listed in Genesis. So everything is rolled over to now. The students, although in the summer programs, they are in their last year school grade. In Genesis, they are now in the next grade.
Got it. Thank you. Yeah. So
I
if
can get that.
August, if we could maybe capture a glimpse of what those numbers look like, just to see.
Sure. And that would be a better time because honestly, for move-ins, July is not the month we get them. August is when we get them. So they've either already registered before school is out because they knew they were moving to Denville, or we get them in August because now they're in their new houses and they're thinking about school.
Thank you very much. Okay, and then going back to you, Dr. Forte, superintendent comments, if you're ready.
Yes, I am. Okay, so this is always the meeting that is exciting for me to report, because I'm going to talk a little bit about some college acceptances, but I want to have a couple other things first. So October 22nd is our golf outing. That's the Education Foundation of Denville. That'll be at the Knoll Country Club. So again, October 22nd at the Knoll Country Club. Ms. Sedelis invited me to the Sunrise Rotary last week, and I attended, spoke to the Rotarians about our schools, some status, some things that are going on, challenges, things like that. And I felt like it was very beneficial for me. We're excited also to announce that we have a former Denville Valley View baseball player picked in the second round of the Major League Draft out of high school at the 44th pick to the Washington Nationals. And he is also has a scholarship for college, but we'll see what happens if which way he goes. But his name's Luke Dickerson. Great kid, hard worker, and I know we're very proud of him. This is the time where I talk a little bit about the college acceptances for next year. So our class of 2024, here's some of the just some of the highlights. So we have Mercy University, Montclair State, CCM, URI, Delaware, Rutgers, Lynn University, NJIT. Here's an interesting new one, University of Bologna in Italy, which, if you know, is the oldest university in the world. It was established in 1088. I was in Bologna like 30 years, 25 years ago. And I remember seeing that, and it's kind of remembered. That's pretty amazing though. Kane, Ithaca, Swarthmore, Rochester, University of Virginia, James Madison, Clemson, Emerson, Cal Poly, Iona, Penn Tech, Princeton, George Washington, College of New Jersey, United States Military Academy again, Michigan State, Northeastern, Indiana University, Sacred Heart, Worcester Polytechnical, Purdue, University of South Alabama, Ramapo College, University of Miami, Lycoming, Emory-Riddle, Susquehanna, Lehigh, Bard, North Carolina Central, NYU, Tulane, UMass, Manhattan College, Vassar, Penn State, Coastal Carolina, Culinary Institute of America, Rowan, and Villanova. They did not include military acceptances if in this list, if there were any. So I don't have anybody who's going in the military this year, but I'll see if I could find that information. So that was it. I thought it was a pretty interesting list. I don't read every single one of them. I just kind of pick from some that are maybe that we haven't talked about before, and then also the common ones. But I noticed that University of Bologna, 1088. Not bad. That's it for superintendent's comments. I bet you they take care of their, or the mortar in between the bricks.
Thank you, Dr. Forte. My daughter and her friends are part of that list, so I'm really excited, super excited about that. So she's the one that going to WPI or Worcester Polytechnic Institute. So, and her friend is the one that's going to the Bologna in Italy. Yes. So when I found that out, it was super exciting. So she's really proud. And then business administrator comments, please. Thank you.
The audit for the school year 23-24 is on the way. The auditor will be beginning their annual school audit on the week of July 29th. And the Board of Education office is quite busy preparing and getting everything settled for the auditors.
Thank you, Damaris. I know it'll be a very busy time, so thank you in advance.
You're welcome.
All right, we're at the part to open it up for public discussion. And we're opening it up at 7:46 p.m. Seeing no one in the chambers and no one online, we'll go ahead and close it at 7:46 p.m. as well. And moving on to the agenda, old business, action to be taken. Ms. Adelis, would you take us through those, please?
Absolutely. If there are no objections, I move to approve the following resolutions under old business. A, resolve that the board approve the following reports from June 2024, the treasurer of school monies and the board secretary report. B, the education reports, the report of student enrollment for June 2024, report of health office from June 2024, rescind the motion 3B4 from June 24th, 2024, approve the HIB case VB 18, the full year 2023-2024, which we were just running over the data, the district and board goals, which I will state right now. So the district goals for this year, goal 1, increase achievement for all students inclusive of all curriculum areas with a focus on math and science. Goal 2, expand the tiered systems of support process to address student, academic, and mental health needs necessary for all students to be successful. Goal 3, investigate and report on possible solutions to challenges in district transportation. Goal 4, create and implement a district communications plan to strengthen and enhance communication coming from the school district. And also to approve the proposed board goals, which are goal 1, to represent the needs of the district through advocacy on matters of concern at the local, state, and/or national level. Goal 2, regularly monitor progress towards district vision, mission, and goals, adjusting as needed. Goal 3, review the Denville Public Schools Board of Education bylaws and revise as necessary. Goal 4, increase the presence of Denville Board of Education members at community and district activities. And then, of course, to approve the minutes from the June 10th and the June 24th Board of Ed meetings.
I'll second.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Dr. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Adelis,
Yes.
Dr. Aruna Jatasan,
Yes, except for 2 items, B3, which is the rescinding the motion, and C2, the meetings on June 24th.
thank you. Mr. Cass,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Capello,
Yes.
Mr. Kim.
Yes. Damaris, can we get a clarification? Dr. Runajatasan, are you abstaining or voting no on those 2 items you mentioned?
Abstaining.
Great, thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda, new business action to be taken. Personnel, Dr. Runajatasan, if you can take us through that, please.
Yeah, if there's no objection, I'd like to move the following items under personnel. Item 1, it's for new hires, resignations, retirements, employee leaves, extra pay, salary, and adjustments. See a table, items A through EE, and there is FF in the addendum. And there is an item number 2, which is for staff list for summer work. Item number 3, which is leave approval. Item number 4, it's a job description for food service coordinator and food service supervisor.
I'll second.
Thank you. Questions or comments?
Just a couple quick questions. The food service coordinator and food service supervisor, that's in response to shifting over now to the federal funding and all of that. Is that the case?
That is in response to the National School Lunch Program that will be available at Lakeview School this coming school year. Yes,
Thanks.
you're welcome.
And what does the summer work entail for the Lakeview Elementary School?
That's our summer program we have going right now. It's just some added staff, like what sometimes you need a new sub or somebody switches, something like that.
So it's the program itself. Okay.
If there are no other questions, roll call, please.
Dr. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Adelis,
Yes.
Dr. Arunadatasan,
Yes.
Mr. Cass,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Capello,
Yes.
Mr. Kim.
Yes. The next item on the agenda is instruction and program. Dr. Moore, if you could, please.
Sure. I'd like to move the following resolutions under instruction and program. Under item number 1, workshops and expenses. We have the Serve Safe Manager online course and exam for the BA and assistant to BA, and the annual school health conference for the Lakeview nurse. Item number 2 is the Art Spring executive coaching for Cindy Costanza. Item number 3 is to approve educational connections to provide 6th grade study skills, instruction, and curriculum. And item number 4 is to approve the remote instruction plan for 24-25.
I'll second.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Dr. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Adelis,
Yes.
Dr. Arunadatasan,
Yes.
Mr. Cass,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Capello,
Yes.
Mr. Kim.
Yes. Okay, we're on finance. Mr. Anderson, if you will, please.
Sure. If there are no objections, I'd like to move under finance items number 1 through 8 as a block. That includes our checks list. Board approved the award of the contract to Linkit. We've used for several years now. Board approved the following out-of-district placements for a student at Celebrate the Children. And also the board resolved to approve the attached agreement with Dr. L. Haynes and Associates to provide services for the 24-25 school year as needed at the following rates, which are listed in the agenda. Item number 5 is that the board approved the non-resident elementary school tuition contract for a student for the 24-25 school year at a rate of $7,000 per year. Item number 6 is that the board approved the submission of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act IDEA application for fiscal year 2025 and accept the grant award for the funds upon subsequent approval of the FY 2025 IDEA application with the following amounts: basic public, $400,705, preschool, $23,116. Item number 7 is for the board to approve the attached engagement agreement for legal services with Shinek Price Smith and King LLP. And then item number 8 is for the board to approve PG Chambers Community Services to provide ESY occupational services and physical therapy services, evaluations, training, and consultation for the 24-25 school year, not to exceed $16,000.
I'll second.
Thank you. Questions or comments?
Is the grant for the IDEA, is that something we typically get each year?
Every single year, we do apply for the IDEA grant, and it's typical every year, yes.
All right, seeing no other questions, roll call, please.
Dr. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Adelis,
Yes.
Dr. Aruna Jatasan,
Yes.
Mr. Cass,
No on the milk fund, yes on everything else.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Capello,
Yes.
Mr. Kim.
Yes. And going on operations, Mr. Cass, if you can take us through that, please.
Be glad to. Under operations, under transportation, we also have an addendum to the agenda on that. But on the transportation, item 1.1, I'm asking the board to approve the Denville Public Works mechanics to assist the Denville Board of Education as needed for the 2024-2025 school year at the rate of $43.48. Under building and grounds, I'm asking the board to approve at Lakeview's 20th Annual Veterans Day celebration to approve the flyover and landing of a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter on November 6, 2024 at Lakeview School. And on the addendum, transportation, item 1.2, to approve the purchase of two 54-passenger 2025 Thomas Freightliner B106 school buses from the Hart Company at a cost of $161,000 and $161,406.41.
And correction, there'll be each bus.
I'll second.
Great. Thank you very much. Questions or comments?
Do we know who's flying the Black Hawk helicopter?
We do think it's most likely it's
The
going to
Army?
be a person who is a recent graduate of our schools, who is a police officer in town. So it's like a long thing, like where we kind of been working on it for a while and trying to match up with his schedule. And he's in the the Army National Guard. He's a helicopter pilot, works for the town. It's a pretty cool thing for their 20th anniversary of this. They do it every year too up at Knowles for the police academy that they do, the junior police academy.
Where is it going to be landing?
Somewhere up in Lakeview. Not sure exactly where.
I would guess in the backfield. A couple of years ago, for one of the it might have been July 4th or some type of celebration, they landed a chopper over at Todd Johnson Field.
That must be a really truly amazing event to see, to get, to experience a Black Hawk helicopter. And I mean, I wonder if the children are it's going to be open for all the children to participate in. Is that correct?
It's basically, have you ever been to their Veterans Day thing? They're having the Veterans Day thing in concert with this.
Excellent.
And again, the student is a graduate of Lakeview, Morris Knowles. It's a pretty cool thing for them. Yeah, they've been trying to get it they tried to get it last year, but now with the 20th year thing, it's working out.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Dr. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Seydellis,
Yes.
Dr. Aruna Jatasan,
Yes.
Mr. Cass,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Capello,
Yes.
Mr. Kim.
Yes. All right, we're at the part for good of the cause, committee reports, correspondence, discussion items, and others. Do we have board meeting highlights that we would like to discuss real quick?
I have these things so far. The Board of Education approved the 24-25 district goals. Dr. Forte presented on the 23-24 HIB and SSDS, and the Board of Education approved the purchase of 2 buses. I didn't add the helicopter because I think there might be a surprise element unless we're kind of, tipping that off.
That assumes that someone's paying attention. Okay. Don, did you have anything that you wanted to discuss right now, or? Okay. So we'll open it up for public comments again at 7:59 p.m. All right, no one in the chambers, no one online. We'll go ahead and close open comments section at 7:59 as well. So there will be a need for executive session, but once we are out of executive session, we will not be discussing, we will not be voting on anything, so we'll promptly adjourn. So Dino, could you take us through executive session, please?
I would be happy to. If there are no objections, I move to convene an executive session in accordance with Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act. The purpose of this closed session will be to discuss negotiations, legal, security, and personnel issues. Minutes of the session will be made available to the public when the need for confidentiality no longer exists.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? We are in executive at 8 o'clock PM.